Look at your hands. Right now, they are likely curved into the shape of a device that has stolen more of your life than any illness, any tragedy, or any enemy ever could. You are a ghost in your own existence. You are watching this on a platform designed to keep you here until your eyes burn and your brain feels like mush. You tell yourself you're staying informed. You tell yourself you're connected. But let's be honest, you are participating in a digital lobotomy. A lobotomy was a surgical procedure used to make difficult patients passive and easy to manage by severing the connections in their brains. Today, we don't need surgeons. We have algorithms. Your ambition has been severed. Your focus has been cauterized. Your ability to sit in a room and just think has been destroyed by a 6-inch piece of glass and plastic. You are being sedated by the very thing you think is your window to the world. And the scariest part isn't that you're being controlled, it's that you're paying for your own imprisonment with the only currency that actually matters, your finite, non-renewable time. Pause for a second and feel the weight of your body. Most of you are hunched over, your neck is strained, your breathing is shallow. You've spent the last 4 hours in a state of passive consumption, which is just a polite way of saying you've been a digital vegetable. You've seen 200 different clips of people you don't know, doing things you aren't doing, in places you'll never go. You've processed more information in the last hour than your ancestors did in a lifetime, and yet you are less capable than any of them. You have the library of human knowledge in your pocket, but you use it to watch people dance and argue about things that don't affect your bank account, your health, or your future. You think you're in control? You aren't. You are a lab rat in a billion-dollar experiment. Every like, every ping, every red dot notification was engineered by PhDs in behavioral psychology to trigger a micro hit of dopamine in your brain. It's the same chemical reward your ancestors got for finding a food source or surviving a hunt. But you're getting it for scrolling past a meme. When you hijack your brain's reward system like this, you break your effort to reward ratio. Why would your brain want to spend 6 months building a business or 3 years mastering a craft when it can get a win every 3 seconds by flicking a thumb? You've made yourself neurologically incapable of delayed gratification. This is why you feel unmotivated. You aren't lazy, you're just overstimulated. You've fried your receptors to the point where the real world feels boring, gray, and slow. You're waiting for a spark to change your life, but that spark is being drowned out by a flood of cheap digital garbage. Think about the last time you read a book for an hour without checking your phone. Think about the last time you worked on a skill for 90 minutes with 0 distractions. For most of you, that is an impossible task. Your attention span has been shredded. You've been trained to think in 1-5-second loops. You are losing the ability to have a complex thought, to follow a difficult argument, or to see a project through to the end. You are becoming a shallow human being. And in a world that is becoming increasingly automated, the only thing that will have value is deep work, the ability to focus. By staying on social media, you are literally devaluing yourself in the marketplace of the future. You are choosing to be a replaceable part of the machine rather than the man who builds it. Let's talk about the mental health cost. You are currently engaged in a game you cannot win, comparing your behind-the-scenes footage with everyone else's highlight reel. You see the travel, the cars, the bodies, and the perfect relationships. You know, intellectually, that it's 90% fake. You know there are filters, lighting tricks, and massive debt behind most of those images. But your subconscious doesn't care. It just sees that they are winning, and you are sitting in a dark room with a blue light hitting your face. This creates a constant, low-level radiation of anxiety. You feel behind, but you don't know why. You feel a sense of urgency to prove yourself. So what do? You post. You seek validation from strangers to fix the hole in your self-esteem that was caused by looking at other strangers. It's a closed loop of misery. You are building an ego on a foundation of sand. You're curating a life instead of actually living one. You'd rather look successful on a screen than actually be successful in reality. Social media has turned everyone into a performer. Your friends aren't your friends, they're your audience. Your experiences aren't memories, they're content. We've reached a point where people will literally stop enjoying a moment just to make sure they've recorded it. They are trading the now for a later that consists of a few likes from people who will forget the post 5 seconds after they scroll past it. This is a sickness. It's a mass delusion where we've decided that the digital representation of a thing is more important than the thing itself. I'm not speaking to you from a mountaintop. I'm speaking to you from the trenches. I remember the blur. I remember being 19, taking a year off university because I was depressed and lost. I told myself I needed time to find myself, but I wasn't looking, I was hiding. I spent 12 hours a day in a digital haze. I'd wake up at noon, grab my phone before my eyes were even fully open, and scroll until my head throbbed. I was watching people my age travel the world, start businesses, and get in the best shape of their lives. I felt like a spectator in a world that was moving at light speed while I was stuck in the mud. I felt worthless, but the pain of my reality was too much to face, so I used the phone to numb it. It was a digital heroin. I'd scroll to forget that I was failing, and I was failing because I was scrolling. I looked in the mirror one night, 3 a.m., the only light coming from the charging cable, and I didn't recognize the man looking back. He was soft. He was tired. He had no edge. He was a ghost. That was the moment I realized that if I didn't kill this addiction, it was going to kill me. Not physically, but it would kill the version of me that was worth becoming. I realized that my identity wasn't rooted in my followers or my likes. It was rooted in my actions. And at that moment, my actions were zero. When I finally deleted the apps, the first week was a nightmare. I'm not going to lie to you and say it was peaceful. It was terrifying. I felt a phantom vibration in my pocket every 5 minutes. I felt a crushing sense of boredom that felt like physical pain. I felt out of the loop. I felt like the world was moving on without me, and I was being left behind in the dust. But then, around day 10, something changed. The fog started to lift. My brain, which had been screaming for constant stimulation, finally went quiet. And in that silence, I found something I hadn't had in years: energy. We've been taught to fear boredom, but boredom is actually a requirement for greatness. When you are bored and you can't escape into a screen, your brain has to find a way to entertain itself. This is where curiosity is born. This is where you start asking the big questions. Who am I? What am I doing with my life? What am I actually capable of? Without the distraction, I finally had the focus to work. I reignited old hobbies. I started training properly. I started reading. I started this channel. Everything good in my life today, every dollar I've made, every muscle I've built, every real connection I've formed is a direct result of reclaiming my attention from the algorithm. I didn't find more time. I stopped giving my time away to people who didn't care about me. But what about my friends? What if I miss something important? Let's address the fear of missing out, FOMO. You aren't missing out on life. You are missing out on irrelevant data. You are missing out on which influencer is dating who, what the new outrage of the week is, and which meme is currently trending. Ask yourself, in 5 years, will any of that information have changed your life? The answer is no. And the friends? Out of the 500 or 1,000 followers you have, how many of them would show up if your car broke down at 2 a.m.? How many of them would help you if you lost everything? Probably 3, maybe 5. Those are your friends. Everyone else is just a digital witness to your life. Real connection isn't formed through a heart icon. It's formed through shared struggle, real conversation, and being present. If your friendship dies because you stopped liking their photos, it wasn't a friendship. It was a transaction of attention. We've become a generation that is connected to everyone but known by no one. We have 5,000 friends but nobody to talk to when things get dark. We are the loneliest generation in history despite being the most digitally linked. This is the irony of the social media age. By trying to be part of everything, we've ended up being part of nothing. True community requires depth, and depth requires time. Time that you are currently spending on a Discover page. Imagine your life is a movie. Right now, the main character is sitting in a chair staring at a rectangle. That's a boring movie. Nobody wants to watch that. You were meant to be an explorer, a builder, a leader, a man of substance. You were meant to move through the physical world and leave a mark on it. When you quit the digital world, you re-enter the game of life. You start noticing the little things again, the way the air feels in the morning, the taste of your food when you aren't scrolling while you eat, the depth of a conversation when both people have their phones face down on the table. Your life starts to feel like a Ghibli movie, full of peace, tranquility, and presence. You aren't optimizing your life, you're humanizing it. You're moving away from the machine and back toward the social essence of what it means to be a man. You're building a life that is so good, you don't feel the need to broadcast it to strangers. The most successful people I know are the ones you hear from the least online. They are too busy winning in reality to worry about their digital shadow. The world is split into two groups, the spectators and the players. The spectators will spend their lives watching other people live. They will be the ones commenting, liking, and sharing the greatness of others while they stay exactly where they are. They are the fuel for the algorithm. They are the product being sold. The players are the ones who understand that attention is the ultimate leverage. They guard their focus like a hawk. They use the tools when they need to, but they never let the tools use them. They are building gardens while the spectators are chasing butterflies. I'm asking you a question that might sound ridiculous at first. If you had the chance to live a life completely free and away from the digital noise, would you? Most of you will say yes, but only a few of you will actually do it. Most of you will finish this video, feel a temporary spark of motivation, and then immediately scroll down to the comments to see what other people think. You'll be back in the loop before the screen even fades to black. Don't be that guy. The 90-day window is open. This summer is your chance to kill the ghost and bring the man back to life. Delete the apps, put the phone in another room, go outside, be bored, face the silence, build something real. Because the truth is, there is an incredible life waiting for you on the other side of that screen, but it's not going to wait forever. The digital lobotomy is optional. You can choose to wake up right now. So, are you going to keep scrolling, or are you finally going to start your life?